Hello guys, good day. It's your favorite business consultant once again, Coach Uchendu. So today I'm going to be talking to you briefly on some 5 steps or some steps you need to take or you need to consider before starting up a small scale business in Nigeria. As we all know, starting up a business is can be rewarding, it can be beneficial and important as a person in Nigeria today. Also, as much as it is important or beneficial, it's also challenging and tasking to do so. So I'll just run you through some of the things that you verily need to consider before starting up a business in Nigeria. So one of them is market research. I want you to believe with me that without market research, it will be very difficult for you to even start or operate or carry your business to from when you started to the succeeding point of that business. So market research entails asking yourself some certain questions like what are the real demand for this product or this service? Are there actual demands for this product or this service, or are you just going into it because you just want to go into business? Are people demanding for that product? Are people demanding for that service? So you can quickly get to know about this by doing a very short research in your locality or wherever you want to do the business. You can do a questionnaire or a walk-in question period to just find out if people actually need the product or the service you want to introduce into the market. So you also need to know your competitors. Who are your competitors? What are they doing right and what mistakes are they making, so you can build on that and improve and be better. Also, you also need to work on your pricing strategies to ensure that the research you have made, now you've gotten the demand and you have your competitors. How are you going to work on your price to ensure that the price, at least it is better than what was in the market before? So number two thing you are going to consider as an entrepreneur is the regulatory and legal requirements of such business. You need to register your business with the Corporate Affairs Commission. It is very important for any business that is operational in Nigeria within the jurisdiction or the boundaries of Nigeria to be registered with the regulatory body, which is the Corporate Affairs Commission. And for every business, there are different classes of registration. You need to know what business you are going to and the class of registration you are going to carry out. For instance, if you are too ambitious and you want to go into the finance sector or you want to go into the banking sector, you must know at the back of your mind that you should have up to at least 15 to 20 million to be able to go into such kind of business, because naturally or regulatorily it is for you to register such business, you have to have up to about 100 million share capital, 20 million, depending on the classes of financing sector you want to go into. So you need to understand, is it do you want to go into production or into management, into services? So you need to know, do you need NAFDAC even before you start operating, or do you need NAFDAC at the point of on the long run? So you need to understand your kind of business and every legal requirement or that surround that business, so you don't get stuck on the way. Maybe when you started running the business, your products are out and you want to introduce it to the market and you start hearing stuff like this product cannot go into the market without getting NAFDAC. This product cannot go into the market without registering with this body, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, or one body or the other. You get, so you need to understand the legal requirements before going to that line of business. Number three is access to capital. For you to run a business, you need capital to run a business. You cannot run business with no money. You know, we all know that. So you need to understand, how do you want to get your capital? Is it through personal savings? Is it through loan? Is it through grant? And if you must go through the route of loan and grant, that means it boils down to what I mentioned earlier. Your business must be registered with relevant bodies, which is number one is CAC. Then you might think of registering with SMIDAN. You might think of getting accustomed to the BOI, Bank of Industry, and some other microfinance and grant organization. So with this, you'll be able to access certain loans or government grants that could help you finance your business. But if peradventure you want to start the business or run the business with your personal money, you might start before getting some of this registration. But mind you, if that is what you need to start those finances, you need to look for finance before you start or before you grow the business. That means you must register it with the relevant bodies and organizations. So number four thing you need to understand as a small scale business, or you need to take note of before starting a business in Nigeria, are your infrastructure and logistics. For instance, you want to go into a business that requires you to use internet every time or logistic every time. You need to consider the place you want to set up the business. Does it have internet access? Do you have access to internet? Do you have access to logistics? Even if there are access to logistics, what are the strategies you are putting in place? For instance, you want to go into cooking, vending food and cooking and distributing food to corporate organizations or workers and all that stuff. And you are a good cook, you're a good chef, you bought the pot and you have where you are cooking and you have people that are cooking for you. Do you ever think of how to distribute this food? How do you plan your logistics? Are you going to get your own bike? Are you going to employ somebody that will take it around? Or do you want to advantage on existing logistic organizations? So you need to also consider the infrastructure and logistics. If you are into service, how do you want to deliver your services? Are your services, after delivering them, do you have to give people certificate? Do you have to give people documents or whatever thing? How do you intend to do that? Do you want to waybill it to them, or do you want to go through logistics company, or do you want to do it via email? So you need to map out your logistic and infrastructural strategy before you start up business. So another one is the economic and climate and political climate. You must agree with me that it's not all business that are doable, especially in a country like Nigeria. There are some businesses or some line of activities as an entrepreneur that are so difficult for you to go into. So if you go into such businesses, you see that it will be affected by so many factors. It could be by inflation, forex, and all that stuff. For instance, you want to go into importation and exportation. Yeah, you are importing and you're exporting. Definitely, you are going to be affected by forex, the price of naira, dollar, pound, and all that stuff. So, how do you want to control that? Do you have an expert that will be guiding you, that will be putting you through on when to invest and when to pause, when to buy and when to wait and when to sell? So, you need to get all those things clear so that you don't get frustrated on the way, or you buy your goods at 5 million naira and by the time they come back to Nigeria, you see that you can't even sell it at 3 million naira or thereabout. So you need to understand some of these factors as a startup or as an entrepreneur in Nigeria, and they are actually going to help you to start and to grow your business. Thank you very much. Until I come your way once again, I'm your favorite business consultant, Coach Kuchen. Thank you. Bye.